not responding to Zepbound, the science behind why you're not responding to Zepbound, and how long it will take you to learn if you're going to be a responder or not a responder that is scientifically based. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 108 pounds the last 2.5 years of being on Zepbound, Mounjaro, and Tirzepatide compound. The combination of those is because of different shortages and not at the same time. And on today's episode, I am chomping at the bit to do a deep dive on this. Have you ever wondered why some people are super successful with Zepbound and others are not? I do, in fact, have here at Countess of Shopping what I refer to as the Turtle Club, for people who are slower responders to Zepbound medication. And then we also have our hairs, people who are super responsive to Zepbound as well. There's a new study that came out, and I will cite my source down in the description link below, so you can always fact check and reference me as well, on anti-obesity medications, AOM. So I'm lumping in with AOMs Zepbound, Wegovy, our semaglutide compound users, tirzepatide compound users, and then of course just GLP-1s in general. It's talking about the wide variation about how some people respond super well and some people don't. And there's 4 buckets: hyper responders, hypo responders, meaning super slow to respond, non-responders, and then just like normal folks. So within this data, trials are showing 32% to 39.6% are super responders, losing over 20% of weight. So for example, if you start off, just for easy math, at 250 pounds, you've lost 50 pounds of that, you would be considered a super responder. I would fall into that basket, although mine has taken me over 2.5 years of going from over 300 pounds to where I am now and losing over 108 pounds. So while 10.2% to 16.7% are considered non-responders, meaning they take this medication and there's not a response on it. So with this information and this data, medication choice is based on preferences, health issues, drug interactions, insurance. But is that not so helpful to know, okay, I have basically-ish a 30 to almost 40% chance of being a super responder, of where you lose over 20% of weight? But it's also helpful to know, particularly if you are investing, I mean, it costs over $1,000 without the discount savings card for Zepbound per month. It's helpful to know that non-responders are 10%-ish, 10.2% to be factually accurate, but 10% to 16%. That's also helpful data to know too. So with this, the goal of this video I want to talk about is treating obesity to match the right medication with the right person and having that information for you to work with your healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. I don't pretend to play one on the internet, but a non-responder, the Endocrine Society defines that as that an anti-obesity medication like a Zepbound or like a Wegovy is effective if the patient loses more than 5% of their body weight in 3 months. If not, they may be a non-responder. So it's effective if a patient loses more than 5% of their body weight within 3 months. So say you start in January, you go till March 31st-ish, March 30th, it's 3 months, within that 90 days. That people lose 5% if you weigh 250 pounds, that you've lost off of that, what would that be, like 12.5 pounds? If you've not hit that benchmark, then you're considered a non-responder. And obesity is complex. This article goes through and talks about that. There's different biological pathways. I'm fascinated, by the way, and this is where I want you to stay till the end of where we talk about how quickly you can find out if you are one or not one based on this data as well. But think of a broken car. It would be like it could be the engine, the tires, the brakes, or something else entirely to fix the specific problem. Because of these different biological pathways. And so for Zepbound, for Wegovy, mainly work at reducing appetite and slowing down digestion, right? We have that delaying of gastric emptying. So if obesity isn't primarily caused by these issues, the drug may not be the best fit. So factors included in our response, and I've done a ton of videos on this, talking about type 2 diabetics, meaning our Ozempic brothers and sisters and Mounjaro brothers and sisters, that people with type 2 diabetes tend to lose less weight on semaglutide, meaning Ozempic, Wegovy. Sex differences. Men lose less weight than women on Wegovy and Ozempic. And I'm going to lump into that Zepbound and Mounjaro too. Current limitations. Beyond these, there's not much else we know about predicting who will respond to which drug. But the idea is figuring out why someone's body carries excess weight. And this is called phenotype-based profiling. So phenotypes are so fast. I'm like, y'all, I'm chomping at the bit to learn more about phenotypes. I'm like, bring it on. So this is where Dr. Acosta's research, this is so important, identified four distinct biological drivers of obesity or phenotypes. Are you ready for them? The first one is hungry brain. It's abnormal satiation. You don't feel full easily. Like you can eat and eat and eat and eat and you don't feel full easily. I don't know about you, but when I weighed over 300 pounds, I could easily go back and have 3 helpings. And that's me being mindful, by the way. 3 helpings. So it's hunger brain of like abnormal satiation. You don't feel full easily. That was me. And I'm dying to know, tell me in the comments below which one are you, if you're multiple ones or if you're just one of these phenotypes. So hungry brain. 2 is emotional eater. It's hendoic eating. It's eating for pleasure or comfort, not just hunger. Eating for pleasure or comfort, not just hunger. That's also me before GLP-1 medication. Number 3, biological drivers of obesity or phenotypes of obesity are, number 3 is hungry gut. Abnormal satiety. Your gut doesn't signal fullness correctly. For me, I felt like I was, once I did feel full, I frequently would push past that feeling and actually really liked feeling full a lot and would push past it to the point of very much discomfort on that. I didn't like that part, but decreased abnormal satiety. Your gut does not signal fullness correctly. And then number 4, distinct biological drivers or phenotypes of obesity is slow burn, decreased metabolic rate, meaning your body burns calories more slowly. Hello, anyone else with hypothyroidism? That has also been, that's not in this part, but I'm saying that for me is something that I've been discovering so much of how my thyroid corresponds with the slowness of my metabolic rate. So early success in previous trials matching AOMs, anti-obesity medicines like Zepbound and Wegovy. These phenotypes, these biological drivers of obesity, led to 1.75-fold greater weight loss after 12 months, on average 15.9% versus 9% with standard care. This is a huge improvement. So this new study, like, by the way, acknowledging these 4 things, is that not so helpful for you straight out the gate? I'm like, yes. No wonder obesity, weighing over 300 pounds, morbid obesity. This is very helpful. So then it goes into talking about this with this new study. It's cell metabolism. It's focusing on calories of satiety. It's CTS. How many calories it takes for someone to feel full. So this is fascinating. What is that calorie point of feeling full? They analyze genetic and non-genetic factors that impact that calories of satiation. It's SATIATION. I listened to the pronunciation before doing this video. Forgive me if I'm butchering the pronunciation. Satiety, like meaning the fullness. How many calories to get full? So they developed a CTS gene risk score. CTS gene risk score is simple DNA saliva test. They took 717 adults with obesity on average. They're 41 on average age and 75% women. They showed a wide range of calories to feel full. Are you ready for this? The wide range of calories to feel full. It ranged from 140 calories to feel full to 2,166 calories to feel full. That is a large hoop, which is, by the way, why we talk about obesity as a wide hoop with different methods to treat people with obesity management. But the study participants showed a wide range of calories to feel full, 140 calories to 2,166. That's a lot. Like, that is a wide range. If you think of how many calories per day you have just to get to that fullness point, I'm like, no wonder there are these skinny minis out there. Coveted being skinny mini. Well, if you're having 140 calories, like, oh, I had some carrots and now I'm so full. Like, that range, of course, if I'm rolling in being like, 2,166, like, that is a wide range. So the key findings was hungry brain. They responded significantly better to phentermine or topiramate, losing an average of 17.4% body weight after 52 weeks, compared to 11.2% for hungry gut. Then Hungry Gut responded better to GLP-1 liraglutide, losing 6.4% total body weight over 16 weeks compared to 3.3% for Hungry Brain. Accuracy. Their calories to satiation, so how many calories does it take to get full? Test predicted the drug response up to 84% accuracy. 0.76 in men, 0.84 in women. I'm clutching my pearls. The promise, this test helps to predict who will respond and who might need a different direction for intervention, moving away from trial and error of like, oh, let's go prescribe this to you and see how you do. No, this test is so helpful. So the test helps predict that. My Phenomene test, the test is already used in over 80 clinics in the US. It's used to inform treatment, not diagnose specific drug needs, but so it does not require FDA approval and has a companion diagnostic. So for clinic clinicians to do now is Dr. Sirium, I'm going to butcher Dr. Sirium's last name, Macchiani, prioritizes anti-obesity medication based on side effect profile suitability. Like, meaning if you have that genetic thyroid cancer, that's what, when you hear all about thyroid cancers within Zepbound and Wegovy and stuff, it's the genetic one. So that would be a profile suitability. Like, is it suitable if someone has that genetically in their family? If someone has had, what's the other one? Like gallbladder removed, that may not be the best fit. Like some of these things may not be the best fit because of like pancreatitis, appendicitis, gallbladder issues. Those are ones that can happen because of GLP-1 medication. It's less than 1%, but they're still, so side effects, that's what that's talking about for profile suitability. Benefits beyond weight loss. So cardiovascular protection from semaglutide. We know that 20% reduction in heart attacks, strokes, heart disease. So that component, average efficacy and financial accessibility for patients. The challenges, Dr. Robert Kushner notes that beyond sex differences, women generally lose more weight than men. It's hard to predict response based on demographics, meaning race, ethnicity, age, BMI. If an anti-obesity medication is not working, check with compliance. Is the patient taking the medication as prescribed? Consider switching. If early response, 5% weight loss in 3 months, is not met, it's unlikely to improve. So that right there, my friends, for your knowledge, if you're starting a GLP-1 medication like Zepbound, Wegovy, etc., it's the 3-month mark. Have you lost and hit that 5% weight loss within 3 months? That's huge. Would you fall in that 10 to 16%-ish? It was like 10.2%, if I remember correctly, to like 16 point something percent of people who are non-responders. To find out if you are a non-responder within that 3 months, it's unlikely to improve. Like if you hit that 3 months, you haven't hit that 5%, unlikely to improve. That is huge, by the way, to know that. There's some of you who've like gone on, and my heart breaks for you because you're like, what's happening? Why is it not working? Knowing now at that 3-month mark is what the data is showing that is not helpful or beneficial or serving you, that another method may be needed. Early response predicts long-term success. Is that not also super helpful? Yes, I think so. So when we first start this medication, are we having that early response with that? Lifestyle changes. If the anti-obesity medication like Zepbound and Wegovy are not working, emphasize diet and physical activity, as these are crucial alongside medication, which hello, I am always talking about. If you did not do our weight loss, our workout challenge in countessofshopping.com/group, what are you doing? If you have not seen in the group, which is not on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook anymore. This is the new group. It's not new anymore, though. We have thousands and thousands of people in it. It's the group that the Count and I have created on our own website with circles. Is food modifications. Like we have a whole section for GLP-1 recipes. It's awesome. So talking about this, about making these lifestyle changes, that is my jam, Pam. That is my jam. The phenotype guided switching. Dr. Acosta will switch to medication better aligned with the patient's phenotype if the current one isn't working. So from a GLP-1 to naltrexone, again, I'm not a doctor, so forgive me, and bupropion. It's in the article also if you want to specifically look at those. But the bottom line is switching medication that's better aligned with them. And then the other thing, if Zepbound or Wegovy isn't working, is ongoing follow-up is essential. Like, don't ghost patients. Make sure you're talking to your healthcare provider and you're not ghosting your healthcare provider either, and you're staying on top of that. So we need for replication. While promising, these results need to be replicated in larger prospective studies and more diverse populations to fully validate the test's predictive ability. You guys know I'm all about learning about the diversity within these tests because it matters so much. For example, I was sharing how I have been working with a dietitian recently, and there was so much data that I actually have shared on years back. If you're an OG countess or count, you may recall me talking about intermittent fasting and Dr. Fung, the daddy of intermittent fasting. I was one of the first people to hop on that train before he got to be huge, talking about that with Dr. Ken D. Berry. And with that conversation, it was all about intermittent fasting and how helpful that is. Well, come to find out, with the testing they did with intermittent fasting, it was majority with men. And so men have different hormonal responses, excuse me, in the morning with their intermittent fasting versus women. Women in the morning, it's actually showing do need some type of breakfast. And I always talk about how I will not force feed myself, but my dietitian, who I've hired to be my expert and I'm starting to work with, has challenged me because of the hormonal link for women, particularly perimenopausal, menopausal, to have a very small breakfast and not just coffee, as I was taught and trained in intermittent fasting, because it can whack out hormones, particularly with cortisol, the correlation with that to hormones. And so the reason why I'm saying all that is the testing for intermittent fasting that we had once known several years ago was not diverse. It didn't have enough women in it. And this, it's also talking about other ethnicities, ages, like having that representation, how much it matters in terms of the decisions that we're doing with these results. If I had known back in intermittent fasting days that the test was majority with men and how that was going to play into being now perimenopausal and eventually menopausal, it makes a big difference in that. So it's talking in here about more testing, which we typically always say in these things with diverse populations. It's not just about weight loss, but improved health and quality of life. That's the other big part about this too, which is why I always go back to, what are you doing today? I say it in every daggone video. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? If you didn't do my new workout video I released it as the time I'm filming this, it was yesterday, but if you're watching this, it was about a week ago. It's a 10-minute workout. If you're new and wanting to just start working out in some capacity, I am not a personal trainer, but it is a great workout to get the blood pumping and to burn some calories inside the privacy of your own home and not going to a gym. So making these lifestyle changes as well is super important to look at when taking Zepbound or Wegovy. Personalized medicine, tailoring the care for each individual's unique biology and needs, whether it's for medication, surgery, or behavior change, the most effective path forward. Some people, it is bariatric surgery. Some people, it's bariatric surgery and GLP-1. Some people, it's just GLP-1. It's the wide variation of different GLP-1s. Like, there's so many different paths to take in terms of personalizing this medicine. And with the information that we have coming up with cagrilintide, retatrutide, amylin, orforglipron. There's a bunch more. I'm forgetting others because I've reported on all of them. If you want to know the upcoming obesity medications, I've got a huge playlist of all of them that are in the pipeline with clinical trials. It will come a point of where it's going to be so personalized, which is so exciting, by the way. So exciting. So I am obsessed with this information. I found it very helpful. You can know within the first 3 months if the game plan longer term for GLP-1s are going to work for you. And for example, this is the other thing which we've talked about. If you're on Wegovy, we know that Tirzepatide, Zepbound, has greater data in terms of more weight loss and over the period of time of Zepbound has 2 hormone receptors, whereas Wegovy only has 1. I say only, but it's still like a miracle drug, by the way. So if Wegovy is not working for you, talk to your healthcare provider, and I have done videos, tons of them on the data behind that, of if it is able for you to titrate, or not to titrate, but to switch medications to Zepbound, Tirzepatide. If that is something that would be able, because that may work for you. If people are on liraglutide and they haven't had Wegovy, right? Like, you can see the different stair steps of liraglutide does not work the same as Wegovy. There is a difference. Liraglutide's awesome, but way better results at Wegovy. And then way better results from, not way better. Let me take it down a notch in my exaggerations there. Better, both of which are amazing, Zepbound and Wegovy. but it's better from Wegovy going up to Zepbound. It is better data in terms of weight loss. And so going through these things, I think it's super, super important to know these different phenotypes about how they're the distinct biological drivers of obesity, of hungry brain, meaning abnormal, like you don't feel full easily. Emotional hunger, eating for pleasure or comfort, not just hunger, which, by the way, a therapist very much has helped me with. That has been very helpful. Number 3, hungry gut. Your gut doesn't give you those signals of fullness correctly. And number 4, slow burn, a decreased metabolic rate. Your body's burning your calories more slowly. So having one of those, or all 4, or 2 or 3 or whatever, like the combination of those, that is very, very helpful piece to this obesity puzzle. And if you have felt like finally, that there's something in the pipeline of learning about being obese, for me, this is such validation. No flippin' wonder I weighed over 300 pounds. But now that we know this information, we can do better, right? We can make lifestyle choices according to this new information. And how exciting that is. And also for me, knowing these biological drivers too, I'm like, hello, these are genetic. Like my grandma, like I'm in my head, I'm like, I wonder if she had 1, if she had 4, if she had 2, like how many of those she had, right? And the other thing that I found so crazy fascinating was the range of participants, excuse me, a wide range of calorie needs to feel full. Feeling full on 140 calories versus 2,166. For me, my daily calorie range is 1,700 to 1,800 per day, with me lifting and being almost 6 feet tall. That may change as I work with my dietitian, but that's where I'm at right now. And so that's more than my daily calorie range. You know what I mean? Being in a calorie deficit. So how fascinating is that too? Of like, no wonder some people can just eat a certain amount of weight and be like, they eat like little birds and they're really full with that because of their phenotype. They're biological drivers of obesity or the lack thereof obesity. You're getting full off of 140 calories. Like that blows my mind. I'm like, I could sneeze at 140 calories. It's 47 calories per cup of watermelon. Team watermelon, I'm like obsessed this summer. It's become my summer fruit. I literally bought yesterday a big old bowl of it again. I like buy a big old bowl like every other day. I'm obsessed. It's so good right now here in Virginia. And it has the water, it's 46 calories. And do not tell me about it. Don't poo-poo watermelon, okay? Keep your negative watermelon thoughts. I keep sharing about how much I love it and people are like, I'm like, no, it's so good. And it has the hydration component too of being, look at my skin, it's soft and supple because of my watermelon. Like, just kidding. No, that's from Blossom Medical and lasers and Botox and filler. And my collagen, which I'll link down in the description link below. Use my discount code QUEEN. No, it's not QUEEN. For Clean Simple Eats, I forget what it is. I'll link it down below for Clean Simple Eats for all their stuff. Which I have, by the way, my Clean Simple Eats protein ice cream recipe video. It's going to be coming out. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to go eat that right now, actually. Okay, sweet friends, accountability question. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down below. Number 2, our emoji of the day was like, it's going to be a Bunsen burner. No, it's not going to be a Bunsen burner. It's it's gonna be a strawberry, a little strawberry. We're gonna do, and I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. It's a quick way to flash up, like if you're on your phone, a lot of you are on your phones. Hey, I watched this far in the video. It means you're vibing, and if you're vibing, I want to know you. I want to know your name. That's how many people now, year after year, like how we've become good friends through YouTube. So, emoji of the day is strawberry. It's also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought, because all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. My beautiful friends, I love you guys so super much. I'm so grateful for you. I hope that this video helps you. It has very much helped me. I feel very validated. I feel very, very validated. And for non-responders, it breaks my heart for people who are like X, Y, and Z, it's not working for me. Because I feel like we have internalized being morbidly obese or obese, that there's something defective and wrong with us. And it's not that there is. The medication now, we're learning more and more and more about why certain people, which 10 to 16 point whatever percent it was, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of people for millions of people taking these drugs. It's a lot of people. And that's disappointing. And that breaks my heart for people who, if they have not had the results that they're wanting from this medication. So I hope that it is validating for you and also gives you some insight. 3 months, that 5% marker shows if it's non-responder and it may not be. But more medications are coming out that are higher doses, like cagrilintide, retatrutide. There's some other things in the pipeline that may work well for you too. My sweet friends, I love talking to you guys. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Do not forget to go to the free encouragement group. I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye, guys.